All right, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be going over today's NHL slate from a DFS perspective. And I'm going to be using the sheets that I put up on truedfs.com to lead us through a lineup build. And these sheets are usually available just for premium subscribers on, again, truedfs.com. I encourage you to look at that the site and see all the content that's available. It's pretty all-encompassing for the price, that's for sure. And I think it just gives a kind of a different look at DFS that I think you guys will appreciate. In any case, for today, I'm going to be referencing my kind of proprietary sheets that I put together for every sport with today's NHL slate kind of in the forefront. So the way I'm going to build for today is I'm just going to do a one lineup build. And it's not going to be necessarily the lineup I put in because, I really just can't do that. But it's going to be just at least given what today's slate looks like now, what I would do if kind of get the slate locked, if that makes any sense. So what we have here, again, is we have the players, we have the teams, we have the positions, we have the salaries, fantasy point projected, and, that's an aggregate projection from the industry, adjusted via accuracy of I back tested all the different models. And this is, without getting too boring about it, this is kind of the best I can come up with. Points per dollar, again, I hate to use word proprietary again, but Sheets value score, which is kind of an algorithm I developed that combines both upside, raw points and point per dollar, which I think is a good way to rank some of these guys. And here I have ownership projections, which are again derived from kind of the industry in general. But again, back tested for accuracy, so we know they're just not just coming out of nowhere. Okay, so when I look at this enormous slate, like this is the way I like to look at it. And again, if I was going to MME build, I would probably just take my projections, throw it into an optimizer, and then kind of do kind of optimizer theory. And there's other videos out there with how to use the optimizer, and I'll do another one about that. But for MME builds, I do think it's important to learn how to finagle optimizers and screw around with them and put settings the way you want them and make sure you stack the way you want to and all that stuff. But for single lineup things, I'm just going to I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually eyeball this and see if I can come up with good lineups this way. So again, with hockey, again, correlation is king. So you would like to get as many guys, not overwhelmingly, but plenty of guys from the same team, and hopefully plenty of guys from the same line, either even strength line or power play line. And you don't want to put goalies against your other guys, just very standard type stuff. So when I look at today's slate, again, this is just kind of the way I look at it. The first thing I notice is that there's not a lot of clustering up here. And when I say that, I'm ranking all these guys by value score, and I don't see like a whole bunch of guys in this top tier. So not normally, but sometimes you'll see guys that are all, you get 3 or 4 guys in the same game in the same spot, which obviously make your life a little bit easier. So the first thing I notice is that Brandon Gallagher, he rates as kind of the top Sheets value score guy by a decent amount. So while normally correlation is king, I wouldn't mind getting just a one-off out of him. So like when you look down, like there's like nothing on Montreal except for Brandon Gallagher that is even remotely close, to top plays. So I'm not going to stack them. But what I like to do is I'm going to just put him in the lineup just for now. So we're going to put in Brandon Gower just as a one-off, okay? Just so we make sure that we have him. Now, it would be nice if there was other guys from Montreal we could play, but it doesn't look that way. Next thing I see is Skinner. Is there a lot of Buffaloes? Not really. Spiza. Now, he is not on the main line He is a good value from Toronto. And I also see Tavares from Toronto also, and Marner from Toronto, and Riley from Toronto. So it looks as though Toronto could be someone to go after here. So we're going to get back to that, but that's like my first look is that you play Spiza, you could play Tavares, you could play Morgan Riley, and then give up a little bit of projection equity by throwing in some other Toronto guys along that, that's play on those guys' stacks or power plays. Now you'll see that what's his name? Morgan Riley's defenseman, so it's not as important. He's on the ice a little more often. So Riley could end up being a good play, regardless of which Toronto guys we use. But Tavares, Nylander, now these guys are on the same line. This would be probably a really, really good place to start. The thing is that I think Austin Matthews was out for Toronto, so we don't really know who is he going to be out for today also? Or for the first 3 games? Okay. So we have to see what these lines look like. Now I look at Daily Roto, I look at Sabres, whatever it is. A lot of them are really, really good with respect to figuring out where the lines are. Like right now, Toronto, they have Tavares as the one, Marner is the one. So Nylander, they have it power play 1, and Morgan Riley power play 1. So this is really where I'm starting. I think this is already a good place to start. So you play like Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Riley, to make sure that they kind of are up there. So yeah, so there's Nylander, Tavares. Where did Riley go? Let me make sure I didn't ruin it. Marner and Riley. So Marner, Riley, Nylander, Spiza, Tavares. So let's put them in. Tavares. We'll get back to Spiza in a minute. Marner, Nylander, and Riley. So that's a good solid 4-man stack there from that team. And it coincides with a good, good projection equity. It has good good correlation, especially on that power play. I think it's a really, really strong play to play Toronto. Now, again, we're not considering ownership here. So I imagine if I was able to come up with this, that other people will too, and it's not going to be particularly earth-shattering, but we'll hopefully get enough differentiation in other positions to make that work. Now, again, this Toronto one-off is really capturing my eye here. So Spiza. So I do want to put him in because there is, even though there's not correlation between him and these other guys, there is at least some correlation between him and I guess the opposing goalie. Like if the other goalie's having a bad day, the other defense having a bad day, it correlates well to this guy also. So let's put Spezza in just for kicks. Just to make it easier. We only have five, now we have 5 guys in Toronto. We have the one off from Montreal. We only need 2 other guys to fill in our line. So the first thing I want to do, well, not the first thing, but something I forgot to do is I want to look at the goalies, because what I like to do is put in the cheapest viable goalie. That's just kind of my philosophy here. Nobody really stands out anyway. I mean, you could play Vasilevsky, but I'd like to try to find the cheapest viable goalie, just at least to start off with. So let's just start by goalie. We'll rate them this way. And again, you could screw around with this on if you have your own 70 sheets as well. So it looks as though these guys are all pretty viable. So the cheapest one is going to be, well, it's going to be Elvis, and he's going to rate well. So he's a really, really strong player. So let's put him in. Before we do that, we'll resort so we can get back to this in a second. So let's go back. Let's put in Elvis. Elvis has entered the building for the Blue Jackets. So now we have only 2 guys left, right? You have a center and a defenseman. So it's funny. It looked like a really short, really big slate, but it looks as though from the way I build, I could do this really easily. Now, again, I don't necessarily want to fill this out completely, but I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out, you could put two guys in. One thing I will say is that I don't have another defenseman. So let me just quickly sort by defense here and see if there's any real standout. I would have seen it if he was rated well overall, but you already have Riley. And we can afford, this guy was so good in the playoffs last year, this Chikrin. So if I could play him, that would be really, really strong. But I see, this is kind of cheating here, I see this guy from Florida. And I think that there's another good Florida guy who is a offensive guy, which we're going to get to in a second. So it's probably going to either be Chikrin or Montour, because when you look at the other guys, you have Barkov at 7,400, who rates really high. You have Bennett at 4,200, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that could carry off as a one-off. Meaning that no one else along his line with him. So maybe a Barkov would work with the cheaper defenseman, or if I played Chikrin, then maybe I should do a one-off with one of these guys like Bennett or something like that. But this Chikrin dude, I remember him from the playoffs last year. The problem is, this stinks, is that we have this goalie. So we won't use Chikrin. If we use Barkov just for the hell of it, then you could pay down a defense and have something decent. So I guess that's it. I mean, that's kind of the way I would do it. But you know what? While I'm here, maybe I will do kind of a SaberSim one just to show you what I do. So here, given today's projections, what I'll do is I will upload them here really simply into the SaberSim, and you can do Roto Grinders, and maybe tomorrow I'll do Roto Grinders, the next day I'll do Fantasy Crunch to make everybody happy. This is my own name for the file, but you can access this right from the sheet there and download this to your own spreadsheet file. And when you do this, then you can let SaberSim or any of the optimizers build for you. Now, again, the good thing about SaberSim is it already has a program to put stacks together for you if you're going to be playing GPPs, where Roto Grinder, some of the others, you have to actually tell it to put stacks in. I'm just a little bit different. So if I was going to build 20 lineups, I would build it like this, and just honestly, I would just. The good thing about what I was going to say is, honestly, I'm not going to make too many changes. Because the good thing about my lack of just in-depth knowledge of hockey is that I'm not going to be putting my biases over the simulations. And I feel as though in a sport like this, you want to be you want to have highly correlated, really good-looking lineups at the expense of maybe making plays that are good. So that's why I like doing the SaberSim simulations for the lineups. This way, I don't say, well, I don't know this guy. Why should I put him in? Well, just trust me. If it falls within the sims and it gets correlation with these other lineups, it's going to make sense. And it's not a surprise, by the way. This is like really funny. This is almost exactly so funny. I built by hand almost exactly what it built me by. It's really funny by sim. That almost never happens. That's really strange. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for today. And then what I would do is I would download them, upload them maybe to the lineup builder. And hold on, I'll show you how to do that. So we'll take this, upload these, and we're not going to actually put these in, but just to show you. And then you find your download, and then you're in. And so they're in your lineups, and then you can enter them however you want. All right, that's it, guys. Good luck. Look forward to a good, long, successful hockey season.